Hey guys, Jeff with Westcott Designs. So this truck came in, and what it came in for was one of our front center light bar brackets and wiring for the light. But when it came in, I started looking at the truck and realized that it had Icon front strut in the front and Icon rear shock in the back. So then I started looking more into it on how they did it, and obviously I haven't had a lot of time to spend with it, but now that I've got to spend time with it and look at it and then drive it and kind of see how it goes. But if you look here, the spring goes up underneath here, but it has a little bit of spacer built in the top up here on this. And then if you look down here, it has a collar on it, and you can see that it has clip adjustment right here. So that collar might have some preload built into it, but also with the clip adjustment, that allows for preload as well. So it's basically doing the exact same thing that our lift for our Westcott Designs lift does on the factory strut. So I wanted to share that to show you that this is doing the exact same thing that ours is. This is like the factory spring, and it's doing the exact same thing. It's creating preload on the spring and causing lift to the vehicle. So, you know, everybody talks about, oh, you know, don't do a spacer lift and stuff. Well, there's one right there for you. There's your preload collar. There's the exact same thing. That really the difference is that it looks like it might have some adjustment in it here. I took this truck out for a drive. It doesn't drive any different than what our trucks do when our suspension, our lift is, the alignment's done correctly. What I tell you, if it did do differently, absolutely. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything, but it doesn't drive any different than what our lift does in the truck. And when I look at this, it doesn't, I looked in the back, it does not have any kind of lift in the rear, so it's still stock. But when they lifted the front on this truck, they lifted it to 23 1/4, where ours lifts it to 24 1/4. So it's 1 inch higher with our lift on it than what this is. This is basically a front leveling kit on this truck. It isn't quite leveled, but it is pretty close. You can see right here, it's 23 3/4 in the rear. And with our rear puck in it, it comes in at 24 3/4. And when we're taking that measurement is from the bottom of the edge right here to the center of the hub right here. So basically just trying to get a real accurate number. And then here is the Icon rear shock in the back of this truck here. So, you know, just putting that out there. Could we put less preload in the truck and make it ride a little bit smoother? Absolutely. Would you lose some lift? For sure. But it all really comes down to what you're going to use the truck for. Would you rather have it ride a little bit smoother and not have as much height? A lot of these guys are looking for maximum amount of height out of these trucks. And for tire size, you know, if someone says, hey, I'd rather have my truck not as high and I'd rather have it ride a little smoother, then sure. If that's what you want, then you know, let us know. But I think this truck drives every bit of the exact same or comparable to what our lift does. So if guys say, oh, the Icon stuff rides really good, well, here's a good comparison. They ride almost identical. I took it out on about a 5-mile drive. I went over some bumps on it and stuff like that. So it's a lot the same. I noticed that this truck has the black axles in it. So there again, it's limited on how much you can lift these trucks with the black axles. And the reason for that is obviously because the CVs are 1/4 inch shorter. So they don't come out on the output side out here. They actually come out on the inside up there. And it tends to be on the driver's side when we see these trucks lifted above 2.5 inches to close to 3 inches. The wheels, when they're at full turn and they're gripping the pavement and they've got the truck in 4-wheel drive and the tire's not giving it all and all the kinetic energy is built up in the axle. And what happens is then it's at its farthest point and it's at its closest point to coming out. And with that kinetic energy that's built up within it, it has to go somewhere. So what it does is it rips the axle out from underneath the truck and flings it underneath the truck and usually causes some type of damage. So that is why with our lift on the truck, we decided not to lift it up as high as we could have and its limitations, because we did not want the axles with our kit falling out of these trucks. So we have seen it with other lift brands that are out there. If you do a diff drop to offset for some of that stuff, you can fix that problem, because now you're putting the axles back at the exact geometry or proper geometry that they came from the factory. So then the axle pushes back into the CV and it's not such a big problem then at that point. But also you'll notice down here, they've done the exact same thing here. They have extended the bump stop right here. They've put a little washer on it. It's probably 1/4 inch. They've done that so it doesn't cause the strut to prematurely bottom out, and it still bottoms out on the control arm here. Are you losing a little bit of upward travel? Sure. But my thoughts are that with the upward travel and with the increased tire size, you are probably going to run contact with here to here, from the tire to here, before you're going to bump on that bump stop. So that's probably not a problem on that. The only other time obviously would be articulation when you're out there four-wheeling and really just trying to set the truck up for a corner and different things like that, where you're going to push the fender up, or the tire up into the wheel well, and so it'll have max travel upward on that. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy this, and hope that you get something out of what I've had to say. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, or concerns, but I wanted to share that with you guys here because this is a great example, and after driving it, now I can say for myself on how it reacted. So again, thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.